Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level and CLAT examinations. And about me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session is in regards to the DNA, that is daily news analysis of the Hindu of today's, that is 9th of March 2021. And throughout this session, that is the DNA, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the Hindu newspaper, wherein we will try to identify the factual, analytical and conceptual questions which will be utmost necessary for UPSC perspective prelims point of view. And while you imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing for the mains examination, your answers would be precise and concise, and thereby you would score higher marks in the mains examinations. And this session at IAS Academy will certainly help you to crack both prelims and mains of 2021. And before we get into the DNA of the newspaper, we would be focusing at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that, don't let your dreams be dreams. So what is very important is, it is very crucial that you need to dream and you need to work for the dreams to be fulfilled or the dreams to be coming into a reality. So for that, don't let your dreams to be dreams. And now we'll look into the DNA of the newspaper, and here we would be focusing on the keyword that is 50% cap on quota. So this is the keyword which the emphasis would be in regards to the Supreme Court is now examining the 3-decade-old judgment, which the 3-decade-old judgment in the year 1992 has fixed reservation for the marginalized and the poor in government jobs and in the educational institutions at 50%. Now the Supreme Court is trying to decide or to examine whether the 3 decades old judgment, which was fixing the reservation at 50% for the marginalized and the poor people, especially in the government jobs and in the educational institution, is necessary, that it has to be a relook, that there has to be a purpose, that they need to look it once again. And here, while the Supreme Court was examining it, the 5-judge bench led by Justice Ashok Bhushan has set up to hear the challenge in regards to the Maratha quota law. So here it is the keyword again would be focusing on the Maratha quota law, wherein the Supreme Court is looking at the challenge to the Maratha quota law, which the Maratha quota has decided not to confine the reservation or the question of reservation crossing over or moving away from 50% limit. Is it that 50% of limit can be crossed only to Maharashtra or to any other states? Now this is a big question which the Supreme Court is listening to the or would examine to the challenge of Maratha quota law, which can be extended beyond 50% limit. Is it applicable only to the state of Maharashtra or to all the states or any other states of India? This is a conceptual and analytical understanding about what the Supreme Court is trying to make sure, that whether there is a need to relook at the 3 decades old judgment in regards to fixing the reservation at 50%, or there has to be a relook at it, as the Maharashtra government has gone ahead with the Maratha quota law. And the Supreme Court is now expanding the ambit of the case by just not looking at it from the Supreme Court point of view, but it is now expanding the ambit by making various other states as a party and the Supreme Court is inviting those states which it would wish to be the party of this entire case in regards to the extending of the reservation beyond 50 percentage to the marginalized and the poor in the government and educational institutions should continue or should continue to remain within the 50 percentage boundary, or there has to be a relook at it. So the Supreme Court is very clearly trying to make sure that it is trying to expand the ambit of the case. This is the key phrase. What the Supreme Court is wanting or getting into the mode of expanding the ambit of the case in regards to the whether reservation should remain within the 50 percentage or can extend beyond the 50 percentage limit. And the court now will look into the another question also, that whether the Maharashtra State Reservation for Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act of the year 2018, which provides 12 percentage to 13 percentage quota benefits for the Maratha community. This is the crucial analysis what we are going ahead with this news, because it is regards to the 50 percentage of the quota, and in turn within the 50 percentage of quota, now we are focusing at the Maratha quota law. And as per the Maharashtra State Reservation for Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act of 2018, the Act provides 12 to 13 percentage of reservation or quota benefits to the Maratha community. Thus, by this act, that is Maharashtra State Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act of 2018, by this act, which is providing an additional of 12 to 13 percentage of quota to the Maratha community, now the reservation percentage in the state would cross 50 percentage mark. And this, the SCBC, that is Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act of 2018 of Maharashtra State, is now enacted to provide 12 to 13 percentage of quota benefit to the Maratha community under extraordinary circumstances. This is a keyword. So the SCBC Act of Maharashtra 2018 provides the 12 to 13 percentage of quota to the Maratha community under, this is very important, under the extraordinary circumstances. So what is that extraordinary circumstances? Which is provided in the 3-decade-old judgment, that if it is necessary or if it is an extraordinary circumstances, then the crossing of 50 percentage of quota can be taken into consideration. So that is the question which the court will look into it. Look into the question whether SCBC Act which has provided 12 to 13 percentage of quota is under the extraordinary circumstances. Please do understand, this is a key phrase which the court will look into the question whether the Maratha community which is being provided with the extra reservation quota is under the extraordinary circumstances. This is a keyword. And now we will look at what does the Gaikwad Commission or commission has said about the 50 percentage, crossing of 50 percentage of quota, because it is very important what the Supreme Court has now trying to put forward or examine whether there is a need to relook at the benchmark not to cross over 50 percentage of reservation only in Maharashtra, or which will be applicable to other states in the country, so that it is taking into consideration that the ambit of the case is extended further to various other states, and it is inviting the states to be part of the case. And in that process, it is very imperative for us, that is to all the civil servant aspirants, that you need to understand about the Gaikwad Commission. And this is a background how you need to focus the complete analysis of the Maratha quota law. We are getting into the concept of the what the Gaikwad Commission has put forth. And now the court will also examine not only in regards to the socially and economically backward committee or the commissions which has been put forth by the Maharashtra state, but it will also examine the Maharashtra state backward classes commission. Please do understand, there are 2 points here. It is looking to the question whether Maharashtra state reservation for socially and educationally backward classes act, socially and educationally backward classes act of 2018, it is focusing. So this act is very important for prelims as well as mains perspective in regards to the quota, especially in regards to the Maratha community, which is being provided an additional 12 to 13% of quota benefits in the Maharashtra state. And the court is focusing on that whether it is possible to cross the 50% mark under extraordinary circumstances. And the court will also examine the Maharashtra State Backward Classes Commission, which was under the chairmanship of Justice M.C. Gaikwad, has made up a case of extraordinary circumstances. To whom? To the deprived community. That is, then it thought that is the Maratha community. And it requires an helping hand because it is deprived, and the helping hand is to provide reservation even at the cost of crossing 50% line. Why it is even at the cost of crossing the 50% of reservation quota line? Because it is provided under extraordinary circumstances to the community which is deprived, and that would be provided by an helping hand of giving an additional reservation of 12 to 13% by the Maharashtra state. But if you look at what the Gaikwad Commission has recommended was to provide the reservation for Marathas from 16%, to up to 16%. Please do understand here, the Gaikwad Commission has recommended that the Marathas who are deprived in Maharashtra be given an reservation of 16%. But the Bombay High Court in June 2019 has reduced the percentage of reservation which was recommended by Gaikwad Commission from 16% to 12% in education, and it has reduced from 16% to 13% in employment. So here another keyword is the Bombay High Court, which has given its reservation, its verdict in June 2019 to reduce the quantum of reservation which was recommended by Gaikwad Commission to the Marathas to be at 16%, but it has been reduced to 12% in education and 13% in employment. And the Supreme Court also will look into another question, that whether this is crucial again in regards to the Constitution articles, that is whether 102nd Amendment Act of 2018, which was introduced by the National Commission for Backward Classes, whether that will interfere the authority of the state legislatures, will interfere with the authority. That means whether the 102nd Amendment Act of 2018, by that there was an introducing of National Commission for Backward Classes, and whether that act will interfere with the authority of the state legislatures, that is the Assembly, Maharashtra State Assembly, whether this will have any interference with the authority of the Maharashtra state legislature onto what? To provide benefit to socially and educationally backward communities which falls within its own jurisdiction. When I'm talking about its own jurisdiction, it is the Maharashtra State Legislative Assembly jurisdiction. And look at it, how many keywords are there here, that there is a possibility that the question can be raised. So focus on the keywords which I am explaining and the analysis point of view, that it will be very, very crucial. And here the another Amendment Act is Constitutional Amendment Act, which is 102nd Amendment Act, whether it interferes the authority of the state legislation. Here it is again, we are talking about the articles, or frankly speaking, it is in regards to the amendment versus the authority of state legislative assembly. The amendments which are brought in, and then whether it will interfere that authority of the Maharashtra state legislative assembly, which provides the benefit to the socially and educationally backward communities, to provide an additional reservation to the Maratha community of 12 and 13% in education and employment. So here what we need to focus is Maharashtra State Backward Classes Commission, Gaikwad Commission, which has recommended, and the Constitutional 102nd Amendment Act 2018, whether it interferes with the state legislature to provide benefit to the socially and educationally backward communities. And now we will look at what is that the Supreme Court is trying to examine the 3 decades old verdict, that is the Indira Shani verdict of 1992. So this is how you need to focus as a comprehensive understanding about the what the Supreme Court is now trying to examine in regards to the extending the 50% limit of reservation. So the basis is the Indira Shani verdict of 1992, wherein in that the Supreme Court has fixed the 50% limit on quota, and now the court is now framing a series of questions, because I would once again go back to the previous for your better understanding, that what are the series of questions which the Supreme Court is looking at is that whether there is a need to relook at the 50% quota, and it is looking at the SCBC Act of 2018 for socially and educationally backward classes, and looking at the Maharashtra State Backward Classes Commission, focusing on the recommendation by the Gaikwad Commission, and on the question of the 102nd Amendment Act, whether it would interfere the authority of the state legislative assembly. So these are the various questions which the Supreme Court will examine, and this will be based on whether the Indira Shani verdict of 1992, which has fixed the 50% limit on quota, needs to be relooked. And when we are talking about whether there is a need to be relooked, which the Supreme Court is now in the tune or in the line that it has to be relooked by a larger bench, more than 9 judges bench. So the Indira Shani verdict of 1992, which has taken up, now the court feels that is the Supreme Court feels that whether there is a need that the 3 decades old of Indira Shani verdict of 1992 has to be taken up with a larger bench, more than 9 judge benches, and in the year 1992 a 9 judge bench, because the verdict which was given in the Shani verdict of 1992 by the Supreme Court was given by the 9 judge bench, and now whether there is a relook to have a larger bench, more than 9 judge bench, which has given a verdict in the year 1992, which has said that there, or the verdict of the Supreme Court in the Indira Shani verdict, it has said that there is a Lakshman Rekha for reservation, that especially in the jobs and education, that it should not cross 50%, but there is an exception for crossing of 50% only when there is an extraordinary circumstances. So I repeat the keyword which is very crucial, that the 50% quota limit can be extended or can cross the Lakshman Rekha for reservation only in the extraordinary circumstances, and that was pronounced in the 1992 Indira Shani verdict by the Supreme Court. But we have seen the other side of it is that several states such as Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu has crossed the quota, that is 50 percentage, and it has passed laws which has allowed reservation over 60 percentage. So again, for prelims perspective, which among the following states have crossed over 50 percentage of quota limit? That is Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. So that is why we are focusing on Maharashtra, which the Supreme Court is now wishing or would expand the ambit of the case by inviting the states to be party of the case in the Maratha quota law. And now we will look at which are the articles which are related to the backward classes and which are related to that the president empowers to specify socially and educationally backward communities in the state. So these are the articles which are very crucial for prelims perspective and application point of view or analytical point of view, which you can mention them in the mains examination as and when required in the mains perspective. And the Constitution Amendment Act has introduced two articles in the Constitution, that is Article 338B and 342A. Now we will look at what does this article stands for. So Article 338 deals with the NCBC, that is National Commission for Backward Classes, and the Article 342A, it empowers the president. Please do understand, this again can be, as I said, for prelims, that which among the following statements are incorrect in regards to the Article 342A. So 342A empowers the president to specify any community as a social and educational backward community in any particular state. And the Article 342A also says that it is for the parliament to include a community. It is for the parliament to include a community in the central list, whether that community is a socially or a backward classes, which has the helping hand to be granted as a reservation benefits. So it is to specify, it is the president, but to include a community in the central list, whether that community is a socially or a backward classes, is up to the parliament. So you have these two keywords, include and specify. Who has the power to include a community in the central list? It is not the president, it is the parliament. But who has the power to specify a community as a socially and educationally backward community in any particular state is the president. So do not get confused, and this is very crucial for your understanding. And the court now wants to also delve to look into the issues whether 342A, that is what we were talking about, whether the 102nd Amendment Act would interfere in the state or authority of the state legislative assembly to define a community as a socially and backward classes. And now the court is also wishing to look into the issue whether Article 342A strips the state legislature of their discretionary power to include the backward communities in the state leads. So this is an entire analysis which we have taken at a broader perspective, which is very crucial for prelims as well as mains examination from polity perspective. So I just rewind it. Article 338B and 342A we have focused, and Indira Sawhney verdict of 1992 and the Gaikwad Commission, what it has recommended of providing 16% reservation to the Maratha community. And we have looked at what is that is happening in Maharashtra about the Maratha quota law and how it has been challenged in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court is now examining the 3-decade-old judgment which provides the reservation for marginalized and the poor, especially in the government, that is for the jobs, government jobs and educational institution, that the reservation quota should not be exceeding above 50%. So this is a complete comprehensive analysis in regards to the 50% cap on quota. So this is, you have it from polity perspective and also socially and backward, or how the society is looked at, and how reservation is fixed. Now we'll get into the another news is in regards to the tap water, and this is we are focusing as per the information which is being provided by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Water Resources, and the information provided by this Parliamentary Standing Committee on Water Resources says that only half of the government schools and Anganwadis across the country have tap water supply. Please do understand, only half of the government schools and Anganwadis have the tap water supply. And if you look at this is very crucial at this juncture, because the schools and the Anganwadis across India are starting to reopen the schools which were being shut down because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. And once the schools are reopened, what is crucial for the students and the teachers to be or to follow the COVID-19 safety protocols is the repeated hand washing. That is hygiene factor to be taken into consideration. But by the report or the information provided by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Water Resources makes it very clear only half of the government schools of Anganwadis across the country have tap water supply. So there is the question which arises now, how can these schools be reopened after an year shut down because of the COVID-19, and how the COVID-19 safety protocols can be followed. That is, one amongst them is regular or repeated hand washing by both the students and the teachers. And in regards to this, we will look at a campaign which is again very crucial for prelims and also for the mains examination, and this is again analytical perspective. That is how we need to focus the information which has been provided by the Parliamentary Standing Committee in regards to the water resources and the campaign what the government has come up. So the government has come up with an 100-day campaign which it wanted to make sure that the each and every school, Anganwadi, Ashram Shala or residential tribal schools will be having the portable piped water supply, or the campaign main agenda is to provide the portable piped water supply for drinking and cooking purpose, and also have the tap water for washing hands, and which can be used even in toilets. And this was launched, that is the campaign 100-day portable piped water supply campaign was launched on October 2nd, that is on Gandhi Jayanti, by the ministry called as Jal Shakti Ministry. So this is very crucial campaign which the government has taken up, and the ministry has told that the campaign has ended on February 15th, and as on February 15th only 48.5% of Anganwadis and 53.3% of schools across the country had tap water supply. That means almost close to less than 50% of Anganwadis and schools do not have water supply, even though the campaign taken up by the government, that is the Jal Shakti Ministry, in regards to providing portable piped water supply for drinking and cooking purposes, and also providing tap water for washing hands and to be used in toilets, is not met as per the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Water Resources. And if you look at the more in-depth data of the percentage of tap water or portable piped water supply, it is 8% in Uttar Pradesh. Only 8% schools and Anganwadis has the tap water supply in Uttar Pradesh, 11% in West Bengal, and 2 to 6% in Assam, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Bengal. So this is the dilapidated condition of providing portable piped water supply for schools and Anganwadis, and this raises concern at the junction wherein the government is almost ready to reopen the schools after 1 year lockdown, and also should follow the COVID-19 guidelines. And you have 7 states which are having or achieved 100% coverage of potable pipe water supply are Andhra Pradesh, Goa, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Punjab. So this statistics is very important for prelims perspective, that which among the following states have achieved 100% coverage of piped water supply by the potable piped water supply campaign, which was launched on October 2nd by the Jal Shakti Ministry. And if you look at the least coverage, it is the Uttar Pradesh, which is with 7.93%, followed by least West Bengal 10.89%, Jharkhand 12.99%, and 100% we have seen Andhra Pradesh, Goa, Tamil Nadu, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Telangana and Punjab has covered 100% tap water in schools. And now we'll look at another news which talks about the national security projects. This is a keyword. And in regards to the national security project, ISRO has said that is Indian Space Research Organization has said that it will be an in charge of projects, which the projects are linked to national security and advanced technology. So this comments, or this was the answer given by ISRO to a response of a query by the Standing Committee on Science and Technology. Please do understand here, when we are talking about the Standing Committee, it is very crucial from polity perspective, because you need to understand the different standing committees and what are the committees which are raising the concern in the House, and how the particular committee in regards to the water resources we have focused earlier in regards to the Jal Shakti Ministry, and now in regards to the Standing Committee on Science and Technology. A question was raised in the House, that is in the Rajya Sabha, and the question was whether NSIL, that is newly formed commercial branch or commercial organ, that is New Space India Limited, would replace ISRO. So this was the question raised by the Standing Committee on Science and Technology in Rajya Sabha, whether NSIL, that is New Space India Limited, would replace ISRO. And in turn to the query of the Standing Committee, ISRO has given a statement or answer to the query saying that the projects which are linked to the national security and the advanced technology, ISRO will be in charge of those projects, such as the forthcoming Chandrayaan-2 mission and the Gaganyaan mission. And in regards to the Gaganyaan mission, the ISRO is planning to send Indian cosmonauts into space, and it is the NSIL, that is New Space India Limited, which would handle the bulk of commercial activities. This is again from prelims perspective, which among the following are the one, or which among the following is the newly formed to handle the bulk of commercial activities of ISRO. It is the New Space India Limited. And we will now focus about what is NSIL. And this NSIL was incorporated in the year 2019, and NSIL, that is New Space India Limited, has been enhanced, or its scope has been enhanced in June 2020. Please do understand, incorporated in March 2019 and its scope was enhanced in June 2020. And the mandate of the newly formed commercial activities which will be taken up by the New Space India Limited is that it will include owning of satellites for Earth observation and communication applications. Please do understand, the mandate of NSIL is owning satellites for Earth observations and communication applications. And NSCL recently, we have seen that, we have discussed even in AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis, that it has coordinated the launch of Amazonia satellite by Brazil on February 28, and it is the first fully commercial mission taken up by New Space India Limited. Along with Amazonia satellite, it has also launched 18 other satellites. So it is crucial that we were talking about the NSIL and the launch, that is first fully commercial mission of NSIL, launching of Amazonia satellite and other 18 satellites. In that 18, you have 5 Indian and then the rest 13 are US satellites. So this is very crucial for prelims perspective, how you need to focus, because here we were talking in regards to the query asked by the Standing Committee on Science and Technology, but it is crucial that the analytical perspective of looking at this news item is that you need to focus about the Gaganyaan mission, Chandrayaan 2 mission, and also the New Space India Limited, which could be a part of prelims UPSC perspective question. And if you look at, this is a public sector enterprise and it is a new commercial arm in the Department of Science, and it will harness India's space power commercially, and it will tap the benefits of R&D which are carried out by ISRO. So these are the intention, or this is the intention why NSCL has been brought up, and it will take up the commercial activities, and it will go ahead with commercial activities, and it will go ahead with the launching of vehicles and transfer of technology and marketing of space products. So this is the main intention or the aim on the mission of NSCIL. And we will also look at the another news which our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has gone ahead with addressing the video conference with governors, chief ministers, prominent artists and others who have formed a 259 member committee, and the chairman of this 259 member committee is the Prime Minister himself, and this was formed in regards to looking at how the celebrations of the 75th anniversary of India's independence would or should be taken up, and they have decided that the 259 member committee, that the celebrations of the 75th anniversary of India's independence would be based on public participation, and also it revolves around 5 themes. Now we will focus at the 5 themes which our Prime Minister, who is the chairman of the 259 member committee of 75th anniversary celebrations of India's independence, which has come up with the 5 themes which are crucial for prelims. The first one is, it would revolve around, that is, the celebrations would revolve around the 5 themes, that is the freedom struggle, the ideas, achievements, actions and the resolve at 75, that is 75th anniversary of India's independence, that is taking up resolutions at the 75th anniversary of India's independence. And these are the 5 themes which have been taken up, that the celebrations would be based on the public participation around 5 themes. And Mr. Modi, while he was addressing through the video conference to the 259 member committee in regards to the 75th anniversary festival, he said that it would be marked as a festival of spirit of freedom of movement, and it would be a tribute to martyrs who have been highlighted during the freedom struggle, and the festival will embody the glimpse of glory of Sanatan Bharat along with the glow of modern India, and the festival would reflect the light of spirituality of the sages and also the talent and strength of our Indian scientists. And the festival, that is the 75th anniversary festival of India's independence, will also showcase our achievements of these 75 years to the world, and it will also give, that is the festival will also give a framework for resolution for the next 25 years. This is crucial, that it will also come up with a framework for resolution how the next 25 years, that is when it achieves, when it would be 100th anniversary of India's Independence Festival, what should be the framework, and that is the resolution. And that is what here the fifth theme is the resolve of 75, that is taking the resolution or coming up with the resolution at 75 or 75th anniversary celebration of India's independence, that how should the next 25 years should be, that is for the 100th anniversary India's independence. So this is the 5 themes which have been taken up by the 259 member committee chaired by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi in regards to the 75th year celebration of free independent India. And we also have another news in regards to the Kane Energy, which has won the 1.4 billion award. And Kane Energy, it has gone ahead with having its presence, or it has won a nod in the courts in 5 countries, that is US, UK, the Netherlands, Canada and France. And in these 5 courts or courts in 5 countries has given recognition to an arbitration award. Please do understand here, it has given recognition to an already dispatched arbitration award. So the already dispatched arbitration award is that the award is has asked India to return 1.4 billion US dollars to Kane Energy PLC. So the award, arbitration award, which was already delivered, or the verdict which has come up, that it has asked India to return 1.4 billion to Kane Energy PLC, has been recognized by the courts in 5 countries, that is US, UK, Netherlands, Canada and France. Please do understand this. And now the Kane Energy PLC, when it has got the recognition from 5 countries, now this recognition will open the possibility of the British firm, that is Kane Energy PLC, that it can seize the Indian assets in those countries, that is US, UK, Netherlands and Canada and France, wherein it can seize the Indian assets in those countries, the 5 countries, if New Delhi is not ready or it does not pay to Kane Energy PLC the 1.4 billion US dollars. And the company has moved courts not only in 5 countries with the court has given recognition, but it has moved, that is the Kane Energy PLC, the British firm, has moved courts in 9 countries. Why? To enforce the award which was given by a 3-member tribunal at a permanent court of arbitration in Netherlands, that Indian government has breached an investment treaty with the UK. This is the key word which you need to focus, that what did the arbitration or the tribunal of the permanent court of arbitration has given an award, that is December 21st award, that the Indian government has breached an investment treaty. This is the key word from economy perspective, that as per the award by the permanent court of arbitration, that India has breached the investment treaty with UK. Thereby the Kane Energy PLC has moved the courts in 9 countries, and out of 9 countries, 5 countries have recognized the December 21 award, which was pronounced by permanent court of arbitration, which is in Netherlands. And Kane Energy PLC has begun the process to register the award in Singapore, Japan, United States, Arab Emirates and Cayman Islands. And once this registration of the award process which is been taken up by the Kane, and this registration of the award is the first step towards enforcement in the event of the Indian government not paying Kane Energy PLC the entire amount, that is 1.4 billion US dollars. So it is a first step towards enforcement of the government not paying the firm. And once the court recognizes the arbitration award as it has been taken up, the company can then, that is the Kane Energy PLC, can file a petition that Indian government had not paid or it has breached the investment treaty, and they can seize the Indian government assets that such as bank accounts, payments to state owned entities, airplanes or ships in those jurisdiction of those countries, and they can recover the monies. And this is the importance how we need to focus for prelims as also mains perspective in regards to the investment treaty. This is the keyword which is very very crucial, and why the permanent court of arbitration has come into existence because of the investment treaty, and India has breached to pay the Kane Energy PLC, and that is why now the Kane Energy PLC, by recognizing the arbitration award by the permanent court of arbitration, now it can petition that it can seize the government or Indian government assets and recover the monies. So this is crucial for economy perspective and investment treaty. India's investment treaty with various countries are here in regards to the UK or British firm, that is Kane Energy PLC. So I hope this session was very important, informative, knowledgeable, both from mains and prelims perspective of UPSC. So I would say a very big thank you to all and a good luck, and then do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule and take care of your physical health and mental health. And do not forget to like the video, share the video of, and subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website and Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy. And see you again tomorrow with the daily news analysis. Till then, thank you, goodbye, and then take care.